If you're an author or plan to be one, get excited because this podcast is for you. Book Marketing Mentors is the only podcast dedicated to helping you successfully market and sell your book. If you're ready for empowering conversations with successful marketing mavens, then grab a coffee or tea and listen in to your host, international best-selling author Susan Friedman.
Welcome to Book Marketing Mentors, the weekly podcast where you learn proven strategies, tools, ideas, and tips from the masters. Every week, I introduce you to a marketing master who will share their expertise to help you market and sell more books. Today, my special guest is Jason Fishman, CEO of Digital Niche Agency. With more than 15 years of experience in digital marketing, Jason has helped scale strategies for over 900 brands and led 500 plus equity crowdfunding campaigns, generating 9 figures in funding. Wow. He's also the host of Test, Optimize, Scale, the podcast, and he's a member of the Forbes Agency Council and serves on the Crowdfund Professional Association Board. Wow, that's so much, Jason. I am thrilled to have you on the show, and it's a pleasure for you to be here and talk to us as our guest expert and mentor.
It absolutely is. Thanks, Susan. I've been looking forward to our discussion.
We were talking a little earlier, Jason, about marketing strategy and how that's sort of scary for many authors who, first of all, think about marketing and sales as synonymous, and they don't understand the difference one from the other. Before we get into some deeper strategies, talk about that. Talk about how a marketing strategy will be more helpful for an author as they go out into the field with their book and want to get known, especially in a niche audience, which my listeners know I absolutely adore niches, and we can definitely go down that route. Give us a little 101 introduction to the whole concept of marketing strategy.
Absolutely. There's a saying that I subscribe to: if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. There could be something confronting about putting together a marketing strategy, but I find that success leaves clues. And I want to audit what other, I'll use the word competitors, are doing. This is really just individuals, authors, books, publishing companies that are competing for the same audience. What does that conversation look like today from them, their content, the target audiences that you'll be going after and are likely seeing their advertisements, their content, their appearances today? I like to begin with some type of competitor marketing audit and understand what channels they're using, what messaging is really resonating with audiences. And it's so clear to us today on social media platforms and different marketing analytic tools that'll show you exactly where these groups are getting their traffic from. I want to understand what's happening in the marketplace and then map out the target audiences I'm going to be going after with the marketing campaign, the channels I'm going to be using based on what I saw in my research, the messaging, the creative, the visuals that I'm going to engage these prospects with. I'll explore strategic partnerships to accelerate things, but most importantly, projections. The only way to measure is with numbers. Digital metrics, we look at impressions, clicks, conversions, how many times a piece of content or an advertisement is being seen, how much traffic is being driven to an offering page, to a purchase page, a download page. That is what I'm referring to when I say clicks. And then conversions, purchases, installs from each channel in each time period, whether you're breaking it down by the week, by the month. An algorithmic roadmap to your milestones, to your goals, is how I would look at the strategy.
Whoa, we've covered a lot there. One of the things that you said early on that I think is super valuable, and that is looking at your competition.
Yes.
What is your competition doing? And you're looking at the right competition, because often authors look at somebody who's doing super well super
Sure.
successful. And they're saying, I want to do what they're doing. However, their audience might be completely different to the audience that the author needs to go after or wants to go after with their book. Because even though a book might be for everyone, you can't sell to everyone. It's looking at who is the best or which audience is the best for their particular book. Now, I know that in terms of strategy, you look at content marketing, you look at advertising. Talk to us. What are some simple ways that our authors can go to market and feel comfortable about what they're doing?
After you've put together your strategy, you're looking at what those competitors are doing, and you're absolutely right. You want to find a low, mid, high tier competitor, not just the best sellers out there and in broad markets, but as closely compared to you in the niche verticals. And you want to have a similar digital presence from your site. Many groups we work with have an offering page, landing page, if you will, where you're driving prospective buyers, you're driving traffic to. You could look at your point of sale, Amazon, various types of online marketplaces. But I try to put myself in the shoes of the target audience. What are they going to do? Where are they going to go? Are they going to search for you on Google or another search engine? ChatGPT, another AI platform? What are they going to find when they get there? And you mentioned content marketing. I was taught early in my career, content marketing is the creation of good, engaging content that's designed for social shares and high authority links, high authority coverage. So I tell groups we work with, why content marketing? Because it's probably going to be 7 touch points or more before an audience converts, before they make a purchase, before they buy your book, install. And you want to be intentional about what they find, what they search around while they're doing their due diligence. Do you have a headline worthy announcement on a weekly basis being distributed across your social media channels, your email newsletter, and drip system when someone signs up to receive more content from you? Are you putting out any long form content? This could include webinars. Our clients will do monthly webinars and feature another thought leader, industry figurehead guest in many cases, especially if they can invite their large, engaged, loyal audience, can market before, during, and after these live events. An article every other week, one just recapping a monthly webinar, one going through your content calendar and covering different themes, thinking about that user experience. This can include press releases. This can include different video clips, but you want to put yourself into the minds of that target audience and think, hey, what can I put out that shows what I'm doing, showcases traction, momentum. Hey, I spoke on a panel at a conference this week. I was a guest on a podcast last week. Take a listen to this episode. We have an upcoming live event. I'm going to be doing a Q&A, a town hall format with my audience. Look who talked about us this week. Look at this publisher. You always want to be showing social proof. People do not believe what they read online unless it has enough third-party validation behind it. So putting together a good content marketing funnel where you can later explore advertising and outreach channels to bring people into that environment, but it is built for conversion.
Yeah. And you talked about when they go to your website, for instance, offers. What are some of the offers that authors could consider making that would be attractive, let's say, to their target audience?
When I think of a offer, monetary, free offers, and there are a lot of benefits to creating a community, creating an audience, whether that's just a list of individuals who are receiving your email. Maybe it is a group that's being built on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Discord, where your audience is communicating with each other and you're able to moderate, you're able to put different themes out there, especially if there's an exclusive nature. They're able to receive videos from you, receive content, receive little additions and updates, something that in many cases money can't buy. And by being a subscriber, that they're going to be receiving this valuable info on a regular basis. If it is on the monetary side, it could be sales, it could be discounts. It does not need to be. It could be added value. Hey, order here. You're going to receive this additional item, this additional download, some behind the scenes notes, videos, photos I've put together that as a fan, you're going to be able to enjoy, purchase here. I get a lot of these ideas when I'm doing that competitor marketing audit. Again, we're standing on the shoulders of groups that are doing this very effectively today. But those are just a few ideas to rifle off there. My overarching approach towards marketing, by the way, the name of my podcast, Test, Optimize, Scale. Marketing is merely a collection of tests. And until you're getting the data that this is working, you can't really optimize towards. You want to optimize everything to improve it. And then you look for opportunities to scale from there. We always have assumptions going into a campaign, but we need the analytics. We need the numbers to show us, hey, this is working, and be able to make that data-driven decision from there.
Yeah. And often doing that sort of A/B test where you're looking, let's say, at two different headlines, which one performed better than the other one.
Yes.
I think these are things that the audience doesn't necessarily think about, and especially also those numbers and looking at who clicked, how many clicks do you get, how many turned into some kind of sale, or even the prospect that they come to you, they approach you. I know that I've been doing this podcast now for 10 years, and I feel it's only now getting the kind of traction that I would like, because it's every single week. And the same with articles that I put out. I mean, I've always been a believer in that content marketing, putting something out all the time. Yet my audience often says, they come to me and say, Susan, how much more marketing do I have to do? How long should I be doing this? And my answer is, how long do you want to be selling? Yeah. It goes hand in glove, I think.
It sure does. And I really applaud how you build out these strategies, these tactics to become a thought leader in a niche market. I'm mentioning a lot of approaches that could work leading into a launch, and can, of course, talk about pre-launch further. But once your content is actually out there, once your book's available, there's so much more you could do to point towards the highlights. My podcast, as an example, I have the niche market of investor acquisition, work on user acquisition campaigns in a larger sense, but speaking to capital raising, using digital marketing, that's something many founders want to hear more about. I'm able to splinter my longer form content and feature with visual graphics on our social media channels, talk about new episodes in my email newsletter. I'm able to create an article recapping, similar to some of the long form content areas I was mentioning. If I'm speaking to a new strategic partner, let's say it's someone who could refer us business, and we're discussing a topic of, hey, what's a good return on ad spend for campaigns you're running towards investors? I could point them to last week's podcast and say, hey, I'm sending you a clip, minute 25. It speaks exactly to our discussion right now. And actually, the guest goes into it and talks about their return and when it was lower throughout the campaign. So I'm able to kind of point to their voice as well. We do a monthly webinar. Last month's was on strategy. If I'm talking about strategy, I could point to the deck and to the information that we got out. I'll then watch others in my industry repurpose the content. I spoke at the CFPA, the Crowdfunding Professional Association event in October in DC, and I've seen the content repurposed various times. So your book, aspects of it, you could look to have strategic partners distribute. Some of that can be manufactured. Some of it could be stimulated, but always looking for ways you can be of value to your niche market, your niche audience with your thought leadership.
You mentioned pre-launch and a pre-launch strategy, which many authors don't consider. They feel that they can only start marketing the book once they have it physically in their hand. So talk to us a little more about pre-launch strategy, the timing for that, and what might that mean? What are the components, the elements of a pre-launch?
Absolutely. And I can make analogies to, let's say, a film premiere where the movie is marketed for months, in some cases well over a year before the release date. And that first weekend matters so much. The box office results almost determine whether it's a success or failure. I'd actually like to compare it to the investor marketing campaigns I run because they've taught me so much, where it's all about the pre-launch. Investor marketing, equity crowdfunding actually stems from reward crowdfunding platforms like Indiegogo, Kickstarter. I know there's authors that have utilized these vehicles. When I was first at Indiegogo's offices in 2014, they said, hey, you should break your total goal down into 3 sections. The first produced from friends and family, the second produced from digital marketing. And then as you're about 2/3 to your goal, maybe the platform will promote it to our audience, but not until you have that traction. So it's very important you do a pre-launch. Arguably, you should not take a campaign live until at least 1/3 of your goal can be reached. This is how I learned the best practices. Many agencies who focus just on Indiegogo and Kickstarter campaigns, they'll extend pre-launch. Instead of 3 weeks, it'll be 3 months. I've seen 9-month windows where it's just pre-launch marketing and all. So that first day, that first week, really make noise. They communicate something to the industry. And it's different social validators that take place from there. So let's take that to a book launch. If you're doing a pre-launch campaign, let's remove the length away from it, but it is so effective that the first day of your launch produces 1/3 of your revenue goals, 1/3 of your sales, your distribution goals. What does that mean for the next stages of your growth? Are you able to do more marketing because of it? Do you have more writers, more publishers, more podcasters, more thought leaders, bloggers talking about you and pointing towards your book? Do you get featured as a bestseller on a platform because of it? Being able to spend more time on pre-launch can be very beneficial. Admittingly, I work with a lot more groups that are already live, regardless of their initiative. And I understand marketing could have to wait, and for many reasons. But if you have the luxury, if you have time, if you're experiencing delays, and you're able to put that time to use by first building a strategy and then moving towards a pre-launch campaign where you're audience building, you're looking to get thousands of more people to sign up for your email, to follow you on social, so that when you have the announcement, hey, look at what's available today, you see more people pressing the buy button on the other end.
And even giving people a behind the scenes, oh, this is what's going on. This is what it takes to get a book to market. I mean,
Yes.
often people don't know what it takes. There's more than just writing.
Absolutely.
And that pre-launch, for me, I mean, I encourage authors to have the book cover done. So once they've got a picture of the book cover, it looks already very real, not only to yourself, but to your audience, that, hey, look, this is coming out. It's coming out in spring of 2026.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, as you talk about, gearing up that excitement, because it's exciting that this baby's going to be born, you know?
It absolutely is. And you want to transfer that energy, that enthusiasm to the target audience. You get to set that narrative.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I know straight away when I talk to authors how they feel about their book, because the more passionate it comes out in their voice, and often our first conversation is over the phone. And I know if they're smiling, I know if they're excited about the book and they can't wait to share it with not only me, but everybody. If you're not passionate about the book, why should anybody else be? What are some easy things that authors can do just to get started? If marketing is scary, if marketing is something you've never done before, or you've never consciously done before, you might have done it and not realized that you're doing it. But what are some simple things that you would recommend that they could do?
So I mentioned the first degree network when I was talking about a crowd sale. And I really encourage the same type of mentality for an author, except just limiting to sales. You're looking at one purchase here, one purchase there. Marketing is really sales at a mass level. Marketing, you're bringing people in the upper funnel, the funnel taking audiences from awareness to consideration to intent well before purchase. And then really at the bottom of a marketing funnel is advocacy. It's peer-to-peer marketing. I would play for that peer-to-peer marketing from your first degree network. If you put a list together of 200 people or more who could promote your book, this could be offline. Maybe they run a local community group. Maybe they speak to a lot of friends, family, neighbors. This could be online. This could be on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any channel that they are posting on regularly or have some type of following. It could just be their friends and family on Facebook. But if they're posting an image and say, hey, just received the book from my friend, the amazing, however they want to preface it, speaking about you, maybe there's one quote, one thing that stood out to them about it. But I would look to build a list of 200 people and give them a call. Could be over email. Medium's not as important. You got to find what works for you. But if I got a call tomorrow from a friend, from someone I've been on a panel with, let's say, and they said, hey, I have a book coming out next month. I'd love to send you a copy or digital version. If you have a chance to read it, great. If not, I could go over some different highlights. But to launch a book, I'm really trying to get as many people as I can posting about it online. Would you mind sending something out? Could be from your personal page, your business page. If I got that call, if I got that email tomorrow, and it's someone I know offline, my answer is absolutely. I have a whole shelf at my house of books that I know the author directly. I've been quoted on books. It's another tactic as well, too. I've even written chapters where you're quoting someone on every page or once a chapter or anything like that. Given the nature of your book, if there's ways to incorporate thought leaders into it so that they then have a reason to promote. Someone sends me a copy of a book I'm quoted in. I feel it's a duty. I have to stop what I'm doing and start making preparations for it. But I'll look at content that I put out on Forbes Agency Council. And there's articles that I've written that have been repurposed over 100 times and have 40,000 upward views. I have articles, and it was on Forbes, is a high domain authority site with under 1,000 views. I then look at that contrast. It's a matter of how many people are talking about me online, how many times I'm showing up on a social media network, an X, a Facebook, a platform, how many times I'm being analyzed in an article. So you really want to look towards your first degree network. I know that can be intimidating at times. You could start with lower hanging fruit, but there is value there. My recommendation isn't, hey, spend all of this money on advertising or on a PR group or, A, B, and C. And those things are great. My recommendation is something you could physically do with your pen and paper. There's definitely, steps that are required with the outreach. But to that point you were making earlier about the transfer of energy and you could feel the author. I was on a panelist, and this is around an investment campaign, retail. So a lot of small investments, $100, $500, maybe $1,500. And a panelist said, if your mom won't invest in you, why would I? And I think that says something. If your friends and family aren't talking about your book, if people in your community, your industry, past employees, employers, partners really go to great lengths for this, again, it could be tough to do. But those are advocates. That's free traffic. Those are free referrals that you can get and are within your reach.
I love that. And I know that that's a strategy. I work closely with Robbie Samuels and his whole launch campaign. And it is all about building your little army, your foot soldiers of people who are out there helping to promote your book, because that's also a tactic for getting that bestseller ranking on Amazon, for instance. So yes, I'm going to be part of a team for David Newman. His book's coming out in spring of next year, but he's already started gathering the people and having events and keeping people motivated about the book, even though it's, as I say, it's only coming out in, I think it's spring of next year. So there's fabulous people that start with those. That's, as you say, those are low-hanging fruit.
Mm-hmm. I like the idea of sending them a copy That being said, if you're playing towards any type of download goal, maybe a purchase goal, you could start the discussion with, please make a purchase, please download, and then more importantly, please share. And if you could share these requests with anyone, it's all about who you're being when you're making that ask, how enrolling the discussion is. But we do that for investments where someone will first be investing and then talking about why they invested, then sharing with their audience. That is possible. And you have more people that can be put into that list on a daily basis. When you're out and about, when you're traveling, I had a client come to the office yesterday, said he got an investment from his Uber driver, smaller investments, and his Uber driver's putting in more next week. It's that type of proactive activity that you never know where it leads to. And maybe you find an individual who brings in thousands of other sales just by what they're saying about you online.
One of the challenges that authors have is getting reviews,
Yes.
getting testimonials on Amazon. I mean, since that's a platform that most people are going to, they're asking people to do it, but people say yes, but they don't do it. So do you have any tricks, tips that you could give authors as to getting those testimonials?
Yes. First of all, it's a numbers game. There's going to be a funnel. There's going to be a conversion rate. It's not going to be 100%. The same way some founders, some authors have reservations towards reaching out to their network. Their network may have a blinder in terms of whether they want to leave a review for anything, let alone someone they know's book. It is a numbers game, and you want to put high enough projections around it. Next, you want to make sure there's enough of an ask. If it's front and center and you're putting on the book, the promotion, if it's several reminders, I mentioned with content marketing earlier, it's typically 7 touch points before a conversion occurs. So someone may make a purchase, tell themselves they're going to come back, and you may need to give them a few reminders before they actually move forward in that review.
Yeah,
there are also different mediums to ask. So putting a list together of 200 people, asking them to promote to their audience, a review can be listed in there as well. If you're just sending one email, nothing else, you're probably not going to get the type of response you're anticipating. If you're sending several follow-ups to that email, again, multiple touch points, even to people that you know. Think about inviting friends, family to a major event. You're probably going to need a few reminders out there. The repetition is important. If you then take that to multiple channels, if I have someone who's trying to get a hold of me and they send me an email, they then give me a call, they shoot me a text message, I see them pop up on my LinkedIn sending a message. Maybe that's the first or second channel they're sending it out on. The more channels they're using to get a hold of me, the more I feel I need to get back to them, if not take an action around their request. I've heard at times, hey, I emailed these publishers, I emailed these podcasters, I emailed these investors, these audiences, these potential customers, and that's the only channel, and it was done once. So I would explore the use of multiple channels, multiple reminders. If you're speaking with someone directly, it's obviously going to resonate with them a lot more. So you want to see where you're getting the results and do more of what's working for you. But to look at it as tests, to look at it as a marketing campaign, not to give up if you're not seeing the numbers that you're playing for right out of the gate.
That's so sage in terms of advice, because they do. They do it once or maybe even twice, sometimes even 3 times. And it's like, oh, I didn't get a response. That doesn't work. Give me another strategy. Give me another tactic. So yes, that repetition, and just keep at it. 7 times. Yeah. 7 touch points. Jason, this is a perfect time for you to share with our listeners how they can get hold of you. Tell them what kind of services that the Digital Niche Agency offers.
Sure. I look at to be on a podcast like yours, Susan, just to provide good marketing recommendations and insights with the volume of campaigns we've worked on, watching things succeed, underperform, have to be optimized later. I really get a great sense of fulfillment just by being on here. But if you do have more questions, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, Jason Fishman, Digital Niche Agency, DNA, Marina Del Rey, very easy to find. You can also go to our website, digitalnicheagency.com. Definitely check out our YouTube channel, So I have the podcast on there. I have our monthly webinar, and it can be found at youtube.com/@digitalnicheagency, and can make sure that is in the notes somewhere. You can reach out to me, but reach out through our site or LinkedIn. You can install, download episodes on any audio channel as well.
Perfect. And I'll put those links in the show notes, Jason. If they're really into the numbers, they need you because they need to know what's going on and that it isn't just putting messages out into thin air and not hearing anything, which tends to happen because there's a lot of noise out there. But talking about those vertical markets is critical. And as you know, we always ask our guests to leave our listeners with a golden nugget. What's yours?
The same way I encouraged you to reach out to me on LinkedIn, I would reach out to your target audiences on the partnership side on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is underrated for strategic partnerships. And I know that's a word that can frighten many, but it's just an invitation. Any LinkedIn account can send 25 invitations per day. Once warmed up, you can get up to about 39 invitations per day. Whoever you're looking to connect with, you could find the exact individuals, the companies you're looking to collaborate with. You can send them an invitation with the first message. It's a numbers game. You look for a 20% or higher acceptance rate, followed by a 20% or higher response rate from messages that you send your new contacts. By message 3, I would even encourage the use of a scheduling link or a way to, get in contact off LinkedIn. And I have seen different business owners who have books out there find referral partners, B2B customers, clients, different types of media publishers who could talk about them on their website, their app, on their social pages, on their video or audio content. You could search by zip code. Proximity has a power to it. You could search by company size. And there's just something about a social platform, a business platform like LinkedIn, where you have a profile picture, mutual connections, background, awards, posts, everything that you've been able to accomplish right there. I find it's not only a higher response rate, but a warmer dynamic once you're on the phone or once you're messaging back and forth with someone there. There's no reason you can't be sending out 25 invitations per day, 500 per month, maybe making 100 new contacts a month. It's underutilized.
It's definitely my platform of choice. I find that the kind of people I'm interested in are on LinkedIn. Authors, check it out if you're not on there already. And if you are, look at how you can make more use of it. So, Jason, thank you. Thank you for sharing this wisdom. It's definitely given people and me thoughts, ideas, different things to consider when it comes to the pre-launch, the launch, the post-launch. I mean, all of this is critical, knowing those numbers. Thank you. And listeners, if your book isn't selling the way you wanted or expected to, let's you and I jump on a quick call together to brainstorm ways to ramp up those sales, because you've invested a whole lot of time, money, and energy, and it's time you got the return you were hoping for. Go to bookmarketingbrainstorm.com to schedule your free call. And in the meantime, I hope this powerful interview sparks some ideas you can use to sell more books. Until next week, here's wishing you much book and author marketing success.